Namaskar. I, Nandini Sinha Kapoor, Professor and Director in the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies in Indira Gandhi National Open University, welcome you all to this special session of Gyan Darshan. It is special because we have a special guest speaker. Let me introduce Shri Yadubir Singh Rawat ji, one of India's noted archaeologists who has vast field experience of more than 4 decades in various domains of archaeology and heritage management. Sri Rawatji is credited with excavations of some very important archaeological sites on the western coast of India, which include Dholavira, the famous Harappan city, Vadnagar, Kanmer, and Kotala Vadli, to name a few. Apart from this, he has been closely associated with the preparation of World Heritage dossiers of the 4 World Heritage properties from the state of Gujarat on the western part of India. These are Champaner, Pavagadh Archaeological Park 2004, Rani Ki Bhav, the Queen's Step Well at Patan 2014, Historic City of Ahmedabad 2017, and Dholavira, a Harappan city 2021. With more than 60 research publications to his credit, Sri Rawatji is considered an authority on the Harappan civilization and archaeology of Gujarat state. With that brief introduction, we welcome Sri Yadubir Singh Rawatji, Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. Namaskar sir, आपका स्वागत है. You are most welcome. So sir, I thought I will just begin. What is the importance of Harappan city of Dholavira, you think, in the ancient Indian history, since you have spent a lot of time in excavating the details of this city?
Dhanyavad. Thank you. For me, Dholavira is not a site but a monument of Harappan time. This is one of the well-preserved sites in India or across the world for that matter. A proto-historic site which is actually still today completely or more or less in good condition of preservation. There is no need to tell anybody that this is a street, this is a staircase, this is a room. The one visitor can actually find out, because the structure are preserved because of the stone, use of stone in the construction of those structures. Whereas in other sites, whether it is the alluvial plain of the Drishyavati or Saraswati, or the Indus plain, most of the construction is in the mud brick and some in the burnt brick. The sites are not well preserved. You have to see the make out from the foundation, remaining foundation, or some sort of the conjecture, then you can make out. But Dholavira is not like that. It is even the wall of the citadel is actually 12 meter, is still existing, extend up to 12 meter. Its width, its height, and everything is very well preserved, and there is no later destruction, because Dholavira is a very remote area. When we were working there, no facility was there. For everything we have to go 100 kilometers away from the site. And today, but it is changing, and now new Dholavira is coming up, the lot of the business, lot of the hotels and all these things. So that way Dholavira is changing the whole scenario of that island. It is island in the Great Run of Kutch.
Okay.
And it is believed actually Run was the arm of the sea at one point of time. And because the sea receded before 18th century also, and then there was an earthquake in 1819, which uplifted some part of the Great Run of Kutch, and the high tide water was not able to penetrate inside of the run. That's why it is now a desolate, marshy land, and for 6 months it is completely like a sea. You can go and see it. This is very unique geography of the world. That is the importance of the
Yeah, thank you, sir, with that brief introduction. And before you start with your presentation, another interesting question that has been in the making is: does your work at Dholavira, excavation of that monument, does it have any reflection on the dating of Indus Saraswati civilization, sir?
Yeah, Dholavira actually it seems it was the laid out by an experienced person. That is actually our observation, because the such a city with such a precision planned. It means the person who migrated to this island, they were knowing the construction or city planning, maybe in the Sindh region or something, because in the where the or maybe somewhere actually where the earlier plan cities were there. And this is then it is growing slowly, gradually, that there was a small town, then it is enlarged in the second stage, then it is again extended in the third stage, and then a full-fledged city is actually functioning for another so many centuries. And finally in the fifth stage, the decline again started, and the city people gradually deserted the city. The evidence are there, and then finally there is a small break, and then we have a stage 6 wherein there is change of in the cultural material, and the people are occupying the earlier citadel. The people who were living once in this middle town or in the lower town, some of them they occupied the citadel after some gap, because you know that in the deserted fort or a palace of any kingdom, people generally do not occupy it immediately. But once they are sure that now the ruling family is not returning back, then they will occupy it. The same situation happened in Dholavira, and the stage 6 people came up and occupied some sheltered portion of the citadel, the corners area. Particularly that by that time there was some climate change. Maybe the wind velocity increased, because this is the region where it's semi-arid region. There are the sand storms also. So that's why people occupied those areas which are at the near the corners, and then it sheltered space, you can say. And they continued with some the using the all debris or the collapsed things, reuse of the stone of the earlier houses, and then they also deserted some at some point of time. And later on, few people, they are purely pastoral community. They occupied the whole site, and there is a change in architecture in the last phase. This is the circular huts. During the seventh stage, you find people are living in the circular huts made of the partially stone. The base are made of the stone, and then it is actually with the wooden pillar, and then all the thatched roof. It is all wattle and doab sort of thing. And then they are using most of the forest yield, because we find lot of the grinders are coming in that period. The people are actually collecting food from the maybe forest or something, or the roots of the tree or something, or the herbs or shrubs. And that's why the increase in the such mortar, grinders, pestle, these things are there. And they also occupied the citadel as well as the different part of the site. And that indicate actually there is a completely the change in climate, and people prefer the circular huts because they are actually wind resistance. The rectangular or square houses will not actually hold that velocity of the force of the wind, but circulars actually it will survive. And that is also one region that archaeologists believe there was a long spell of the drought in that region. And because of the long prolonged drought, people did not return back, and they went to the different part of the India. Even some people went towards west, some went to the south towards the Narmada Valley or the Chambal, Narmada, where we get later Chalcolithic culture like Malwa,
Jorwe.
Jolwe, Kaitha.
Kaitha.
Jorwe is in Maharashtra.
Right.
That is across the Tapi river,
Yeah.
up to Godavari zone, where this Daimabad is there. And in central India, we have got the Kaitha and Malwa culture, which precede the Jorwe. That is in the Narmada. You can say Narmada and its tributary or Yamuna tributary, the Chambal.
Right.
A lot of the sites are from the Ujjain region,
Yes,
actually,
yes,
western
yes,
and
yes.
central. Upper Ganga, Yamuna Doab.
Okay.
And this region, we are getting the later phase of the Harappan. You can say that is the transformed Harappan, you can say.
Yes.
Some changes are taking place.
Right.
That is actually the journey of the Harappan people.
Right. So you
Yes.
think climatic changes were one of the most important for the desertion of a city like Dhoolabira of the Harappan phase?
Of the Harappan, maybe actually the stagnation of the water because of the some formation of the reservoir, as
Yes.
some of the scholars suggest. Actually, it was actually because of the tectonism.
Yeah.
That the flow of the Indus was stopped,
Valley,
and that created a big reservoir, and that because of that whole of the city became water.
Yes.
That was one region in that region, but particularly in the Indus Valley region. But in western, it was the long spell of drought. And that actually continued to the up to the Deshwati Saraswati Valley, because all of the sudden it goes up to the even West Asia also. This was not a local phenomena. It was actually in the Mesopotamia also. You
Okay.
find decline actually. And now people are working on that. We have found that the signature of this drought in some of the caves, limestone caves in Meghalaya. We call them Meghalayan caves, because there is a process of the formation of stalactite and stalagmite. So that this is counted by the scientifically, and then there are actually comparison of the same thing in the other region. So what would have been the climate during that day? That is dated, and it actually corresponds with the decline of the Harappan. That we have also an article about that also.
That's true.
This is the land of Harappa. You can say Indus Valley civilization. It is now Harappa culture. It was Harappa culture, then it became Indus, and then it is Indus Saraswati civilization actually.
Yeah.
Archaeologically, we actually name a site from the first site which actually yielded such material.
Right.
So that was the Harappa culture also. And now it is Indus Saraswati, because the Indus is now in a different part of the earth, and we have got the many sites in the Saraswati Valley. So that's why it may be Indus Saraswati. And this is the all fluvial region. This is the interesting point actually. They were along the river, major river valley. And this make a crescent like that fertile crescent of Mesopotamia. It is a crescent in Indian continent. This is the actually site in Gujarat, major site like Dholavira, Surkotra. All these are mostly excavated. Bakshara, Nagwada, Lothal and all the thing. And then there is a regional culture also. We call it Sorat Harappan.
Sorat.
So they are actually contemporary to Harappan, but they are not actually from that stock, I think. They are the indigenous people, and their own style, their own cultural traits are there. But there is a contact between both the culture, and that new things are emerging in the later phase when they are actually going there. And this was the citadel aerial view of the mound when actually we went there in initial stage. So these were the prominent mound visible from the above. The citadel is the most prominent. Then there is a gap in between that actually turned up a Rangbhumi or stadium sort of thing. And then across that there is a middle town. In the east there is a lower town. These are the three divisions, well furnished with the gates, beautiful stone pillars, and that's why this kind of things are not available anywhere. That's why Dholai is very important. And this was declared as a World Heritage in 1921, and this was the citation of this UNESCO. Okay, that this is the site occupied between 3000 to 1500 BC and has got the best spiritual urban settlement, and in South Asia. Actually it is not South Asia but it is South Asia, and comprises a fortified city and there's a cemetery also. Two seasonal rivers provide water. They were not providing water, but they were harvesting that water. They were not perennial rather, but the Hadappan actually harvested and stored them, this water, the monsoon rainfall, and they made the reservoir of that to store them. That I will be showing you. And there is a sophisticated water management system, and that demonstrate the ingenuity of the Dholavira people, how they actually survive in such a adverse conditions. Then there are actually the bead processing was the main occupation of the, for that matter, not only Dholavira but whole of the Gujarat, because the stone is available in Gujarat, semi-precious stone particularly. There are the lot of areas where you can quarry, mine the agate, jasper, chalcedony, quartzite, quartz, so many things are available in Gujarat, and in whole of the Hadappan regime, it was going from this region only. That's why the Gujarat was actually most important for the business, particularly the foreign trade also, because in the Mesopotamia, even Egypt also, the carnelian bead of the Hadappan origin were actually found in the cemeteries, the long carnelian bead. So that was actually the Gujarat fame that even during those times. And that was actually, this is the citation that the entire architectural assemblage of Dholavira with the landscape represent a unique and masterpiece ingenuity of the Hadappan during the 3rd millennium BC. So this is by the UNESCO. And these were the criteria. Two criteria were actually applied for the nomination. That is, the one is Dholavira is an exceptional example of a protohistoric Bronze Age urban settlement pertaining to the Hadappan civilization, early, mature, and late Hadappan pages. I just told you about how it is actually changing, and the bare evidence of a multicultural and stratified society during the 3rd and 2nd millennium BC. And there are the evidences 3000 BC to 1500 BC. Criteria 6 also applied there. Dholavira is an outstanding example of Hadappan urban planning. There are actually 6 criteria for the cultural sites. There are actually 10 criteria. 6 apply for the cultural sites and 4 for the natural and mix. 3 type of sites are actually listed by the UNESCO. So 6 are actually, any site falls within these 6, 1 to 6, any that is listed as a World Heritage. And then this is the one of the largest site I told you. This is a 771 meter east-west and 670 meter north-south, and covers an area of about 50 hectares within the fortification. And 3 towns divisions are there: Citadel, Middle Town, Lower Town. And the among them, Citadel and Middle Town have their own fortification. The city, the whole city, and that means they are actually provided further security. And the water harvesting system is the unique in that region. This is the contour and the planning of the town. You can see this in the south there is a citadel. Citadel is at the plain. The site is actually gradually on a slope, in a gradual slope, which is actually from northeast to towards southwest. In southwest is Ran. Northeast is a hilly range. They actually occupied the flat land initially. There they actually lived for say maybe 50 year, 100 year. Later on they actually doubled that town. It was made bipartite, and then the remains of the earlier town became a platform for the second stage. And then later on then there is a actually development, further development. Then they planned 3 division, because the 2 division already were there in the second stage. In third division they put extra actually towards the east, one portion. And they were so actually visionary, they kept the open spaces for further development, because once you are making a town, so that you keep the space open. Even the Delhi was built like that. Even Ahmedabad, it is not at one go. In Ahmedabad there is record actually Ahmed Shah built the Ahmedabad city, only the citadel and some portion of the Ahmedabad. There is a Tripolia gate, then Manik Chowk. So up to say 300-400 meter they built, and there were all the elite people, king and the elite. And then he asked actually, the Sultan asked his actually generals that you bring people, you bring business, and you actually construct this wall. That's why the gate of Ahmedabad are actually named after those generals. Kalu Khan, Kalupur, Sharangpur, that Sarang Das, all sort of things. So this was the mechanism in the medieval period actually. This was not one, you don't have that much money. Today we are doing in phase wise. One phase actually the king will actually put the money, and he will actually ask all the businessmen come here nearby. So mostly the citadel and surrounding area is occupied by those people who are financing the construction. So they will get more actually privileged in that case. So that was also from very beginning. And these were that way. This Dholavira city also expanded, and finally what we excavated, that is the final outcome of that. And similarly it shrinked when decline started. What happens if there is a calamity or sort of thing, and then in society there are some visionary, they anticipate something is going to happen. So mostly they will actually desert the city, because they are resourceful also. So they will actually leave with all their actually property, this and that, and they will go to the other pasture land areas. But the people who are actually on the daily work, farming and all these things, they will leave gradually. And then every town, every area has a carrying capacity. Certain people, it can actually provide food or the resources to produce food. That way actually this Harappan people gradually left the city, until there was very severe blow to their actually life. So that's why the stage 7 people were living in the huts with their cattle, maybe some sheep, goats and other things, and some forest yield. But finally they had to leave. So that way it was not actually an attack or something like that. People deserted this way, because all were in the same situation. If there is a climate change, all of a sudden the whole actually geography is suffering. You don't have any option. And the present world, I fear that is there will be a severe drawback. We don't have a space to migrate. Even Harappan people had a space all around their city, their town. Far off they could have gone to Ganga, Upper Ganga Valley, where there was a forest. even water was there. But today's world, I think that will become a very, again, that survival of fittest only.
Yes.
Because everywhere you will go, the people will force you back. Because population density is so.
Yes.
So these are actually what we learned from the archaeological excavation.
History.
So these are the structure I was taking. This is best picture site. You just go sometime and visit Dholavira. This is the museum. You can see that there will be no necessity that you need a guide. You can go and see. So these are the citadel, north gate, in between that Rangbhumi, and then the gates of different type. They have got 4 type of gate, 4 designs. That is purely functional. What will be the function of the east gate? Accordingly, they built the east gate. What was the function of the north gate? North gate seems to be actually one ceremonial gate. It has got a double, the one central passage, 2 chamber, flanked by 2 chamber. We have got the largest inscription from that gate only, which was hung on the facade of the gate and visible from the middle town and lower town. And the east gate, because there was no actually through entry to east gate, it was decorative. You can go, it was serving as a balcony sort of thing. A projected balcony, a large tank in front of it. You can go, you can sit there, enjoy the nature like that. And the south gate is a simple doorway, just 1.5 meter wide. This is linked with the reservoirs again. Direct connection from the citadel to water, maybe some pool or something like that. And west gate is a simple ramp from where all the material service was provider were actually using that, because all the stores were in that area, the Bailey area. So that kind of you can think 5,000 year old people were actually doing this sort of thing. This is, you can see how the gate was actually like this pierced through the wall width structure from the Dholavira. You can see the massive wall, and inside the wall, this is actually only you can see screen wall. The stone is screen wall. In between it is all mud brick. That is very strong. These are again drainage system in the citadel. Well laid drain, underground drain. One man can go inside the drains. You can clean it. If there is some blockade, you can clear it. These are the drain. The same drain I am showing is. These are, you can go. And then there are actually this siltation chamber also. That if there is something dust and everything, that will settle in the deep chamber, and the overflow will go to the drain. These are the STP of that period.
Enlighten us on that concept of Rangbhumi. You use the term.
I am coming to that.
Sure.
This is the Rangbhumi.
Okay.
This is the gate, east gate of the ceremonial ground. This has a multi-purpose actually. Rangbhumi, when we went to Dholavira, this land, this farm was actually known as the bazaar. People were calling it Kotada Bazaar. Kotada means fortified settlement. Court. Court is fort.
Court is fort. Right.
So in Gujarat they called it Kotada. That was the fortified settlement. And this agricultural field was known as the bazaar. So we were laughing at bazaar in Dholavira. It was all the run, without very few people, no water, nothing there. But they had a tradition, and that fit into the scheme of this planning, that world itself. Later on we excavated it and found actually there are the well laid floor beneath this soil, and there are the rows of post holes to actually make partition. Suppose there are some bazaar people coming with the agriculture yield, maybe people coming from the forest yield, coming from the Sindh area, from the Saurashtra region, bringing different type of the grocery and all these things. So that way a local bazaar will be there. Still it is a practice in villages, even in city also, I think.
Yes.
So that is our old tradition. So that's why this was functioning as a bazaar, and also same time maybe some sort of the game, maybe the race of the bull chariot or something. And there are the seal also, that chasing bull and all these things, that these are there. Bull lapping seals are available. This is the actually that section of the, this is the stadium, that this yellow boundary wall. There is citadel, then bailey, and this is the Rangbhumi we call it. And this is the profile of that. One side citadel is the highest point, then you have got some step fashion, and then a wide 47-meter wide actually this field, and then again you have got the middle town. So you have actually one spectators gallery also, sort of thing. And these are the planning. You can see the street, east-west street of the middle town, and there are the house along the street, and these along the houses there were actually sallage jars in front of every house. All the wastage water from the house is actually emptied in those jars, and then that jar has a one hole. The water is actually going to the earth, and the rest of the solid waste they were collecting and throwing this. So this was the sillage or the management of these things, garbage. This is the water management, rainwater management by the Dholavirian. You can adjust. It is actually the river Manhar, which is in the south side of the town. That was blocked somewhere, and that was diverted to the east reservoir. And then from east reservoir, it was going, it was filled. Then at the upper level there is a outlet. This is not actually very well thought process. That water will fill that tank, and the silt will settle, and the overflow will go to next one. This is all gravity flow. That's why they have put on the slope. This is the slope. Town is like this. All the monsoon runoff is flowing in this direction from the northeast to southwest. And gravity flow, then these are the different levels. And finally the waste material, the water will go to the outside of the town through the drain cut across the fortification. And then outside there is a huge natural reservoir, circular without any embankment. So that when we started work in 89, 90, so some of the geologists informed us that this could be a water body of that time. And later on, across that reservoir, all around, we found the graves of the Harappan. This is from east, it is going south. From south, it is actually towards west. This is during the monsoon. Actually, I was thinking to revive these whole things. Let us see if we can do. That can recharge the local well there. And the masonry work is actually outstanding.
Yes.
Because we have got a scholar from the Harvard, Cambridge, so many people. And they actually commented, actually, they have not seen such a masonry work in anywhere. Beautiful. Then this is the management water for citadel. Citadel is actually the area which is occupied by the authority or the managers of that time, administrators. So they are actually, a well is actually, this well is 13 meter deep, 13 to 14 meter deep. But it started with the beginning of town, and then it is growing also, because the label is growing because of the debris of the cultural debris. So they will put actually more courses, rim will be increasing. So that is the way actually how they are actually growing. This is the last phase when they were using it. And then system is here. You can see there is a trough at one side. This man is standing with this rope, and there are cut mark also. Then they were pulling this water with a bucket of the leather bucket. Even in Rajasthan, Karnataka, in Maharashtra, you can see. And then the bullocks are actually they are pulling this, and then they will empty that bucket, and it will go to some tank. The same thing in the 5,000 year back they were doing Harappan. And these are there are the underground drainage, and these small tanks in front of this, they were filled. You just engage your labor in the morning. He will actually come with his bullock or camel. He will draw water, fill these tanks, and the whole day they will be using it. So actually, rationed, you can say. They are not misusing water. Everything they are very, using water, very precious thing. You can see this is an antler with some carved design, and then the inlay pieces of the shell, and finally this was the actually Harappan layout of the town. This is based on the evidence, reconstruction on the evidence we exposed at the site. We actually first confirmed these corners. These corners were found, and then in between those corner also we actually confirmed that the wall is running. That everything was actually measured and documented. Similarly, we put a trench across the length and width of the town. And those were all these dots were actually connected, and then we came to know this. And the walls are even extent that we can make out the whole town planning. That's why it is perfectly actually, the town planning of the Dholavira.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very detailed disposition on the socio-economic and cultural profile of the Harappan city of Dholavira, where sir had spent decade in excavating the details, and through his slides we have come to know how what was their expertise in laying the town shape, the drainage system, the water reservoir, their economic activities. Sir also dealt in detail the different phases of the cultural sequences, as they say in archaeology, and most likely the climatic conditions, as sir very much presented it, were responsible for gradual desertion of this particular city. As per UNESCO criteria, this is one of the outstanding Harappan cities because it fits into the basics of town and the town planning. And equally, it was very important for trade of Western India with Mesopotamia and West Asia, and it is one of the among the 5 largest cities of Harappan. Thank you very much, sir, for your precious time, and for educating us on Dholavira. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Thank you.